Well, I was out last week, but I'm back. Welcome back to Game News. We've got a lot to talk about, mostly in the Xbox space, but quite a few topics in and around the Olympics, surprisingly. Some more layoffs and closures and other weird stuff. And we're going to talk about Fortnite on iOS a little bit again. So let's get into all of that and more in the Game News. As we get started, I've got a couple trailers we're going to watch. So let's kick it off with this first one right here. I don't even know what's happening. This looks pretty cool though. This Minecrafty Tetris remix, like the song is pretty good. It looks like you're fighting Tetris monsters, like the pieces themselves. And then it looks like it constructs the dungeon from the Tetris pieces. And then you go down in the dungeon and fight and collect loot. I don't know like the full context, but it looks like a cool crossover. I'm honestly surprised it took this long. I'm surprised it has taken this long to get an official Tetris Minecraft collab. That's pretty cool. I like that. That's a neat addition to Minecraft, and it makes total sense. I like the idea that the pieces be like it builds a dungeon and then you explore it. That lines up with Minecraft, and then the whole Tetris angle. I mean, I don't know. I'd like to check it out. It's available now. That's cool. All right, this one I'm a little more excited for. A new Marvel Rivals trailer dropped very recently, and I'm very behind on all game news over the last week. I've been trying to get in this beta, and I cannot seem to like luck out.
All right, let's start at the beginning. You may think you know this story, but not quite.
These animations look really good too. I like that they're putting some work in, and they're not just cheaping out.
The time stream is flarked.
Don't worry, help is on the way. Spider Box, go!
Oh, we got Thor.
Mere illusion. You should have stayed away from Trickster. Feel my thunder! The futile struggle, even for gods. In the end, all will kneel before doom.
Ooh, relevant.
Disasters hurt the innocent the most. That's why we need heroes. No matter where they're from, or what their mission may be. When warriors cross paths, sparks fly. Coward before Darkchild!
She just cut a building in half. I'm sucked in by the animation. It looks so good.
Chaos leads to confusion. But those who answer the call will choose what's right. No matter how many foes they face, heroes will always rise above.
I've been watching some gameplay. Magneto looks really cool.
Insignificant fools. Even from the
Dang, Doctor Doom looks cool too.
even from the past. No one rivals doom.
Well, that's pretty cool. The game is looking fantastic. I've been watching people play. It looks like what Overwatch 2 could have been as far as like staying relevant. So yeah, the trailer itself is looking pretty awesome. All right, moving on to our next topic. Where was I? Oh, Marvel Rivals. You can read this on the screen. Closed beta attracts 20 times more players than the Concord beta. And can anyone be surprised by this? Can anyone be surprised? I mean, Concord, we know what it looks like. We've seen it. And let's just look at the chart. Let's see. All-time peak 5 days ago for Concord. It's just ridiculous. Like it's really sad because people have worked on Concord. There's been work done on the game. But what they have produced just doesn't look compelling enough on its own. And I'm really bummed by that. But Marvel Rivals looks to be stepping in to kind of fill that hero shooter void that Overwatch 2 has created, because even Overwatch 2 is looking at bringing back their 6v6 mode just to be fun again. Because the game's fine as far as like a core technical level kind of thing, right? But Overwatch 2's monetization and then the 5v5 like team structure, it just isn't as fun as having 6v6. And I don't know how else to describe it. But Overwatch 1 was a great game on its own. It was fun to play. It had its problems, and the devs were pretty reactive to those kinds of things. But whatever happened with Overwatch 2 and the reasoning for them making all the changes they did outside of monetization really like turned people away. So that's where you have, these games kind of stepping in to try to fill that void. And I think Marvel Rivals has it in the bag so far. Watching the gameplay looks fun. There's a lot of hype behind it. I wish I could say the same for Concord. It just does not appeal to me at all. I did not find the trailer compelling. Really, the trailer was interesting. I liked the animation. The cinematics were good. And then when it transitioned to gameplay, it was almost too jarring. I think they should have toned back the quality in the cinematic to be closer to what the game actually looked like. Because that jump nowadays, if you have a large gap there, it's not as appealing anymore. It's like, oh, this looks really cool. And then it goes to gameplay and it's like, wait, why does it look like this? Now, it could be an early build, could be, other stuff going on. But I just think that the initial impressions that Concord gave doomed it from the start. And unfortunately, that's just how it works. If you don't have a compelling product from day one, it's a tough sell. Now, the game could launch and maybe get some patches. Maybe they could pull a No Man's Sky and turn itself around. But I think Concord's DOA, dead on arrival. Anyway, so that's interesting that the closed beta attracts 20 times more players than Concord. Like, it's not surprising, but good lord. Well, speaking of Marvel things, let's move on to our next topic. Deadpool game prices surge as high as $140 after latest film success. So Deadpool and Wolverine recently launched in theaters and, doing very well in the box office, and, people are hyped for it. And gamers are looking for Deadpool games. And we have the Deadpool game that was remastered for PS4. I don't know. Was this a remaster or was this an original release? Anyway, this copy, PS4 Deadpool, going for $140 on eBay. Price charting suggests that Deadpool typically costs about $30 online until recently. Price varied from version to version, with PS4 version costing as much as $50. However, looking at eBay, it's clear that Deadpool is more valuable than ever. Most ads ask for close to $100 for the game, with prices high as $140 since fans are more curious about the character after the latest film. For the unaware, this game was made by Activision's High Moon Studios when the publisher used to work with the Marvel license. It features quite the comedic take on Deadpool, offering all the gags and fourth wall breaking shenanigans one would expect. The game was neat. I remember playing the demo. It had some fun stuff going on in it. I would like to play the full game. I wonder if they could somehow do a re-release, maybe work with Activision, High Moon, get the source code, do something, right? It's crazy to me that, we don't do the cool movie tie-in games. Not that all of them are good. Not all of them were bad either, but now we have like virtually zero movie tie-in games. And there's definitely something like missing when a movie launches, and as a gamer, you want to explore more of that universe, but the best you can do is just watch the older movies and not play. If there's a game tie-in, at least you could be like around the current thing and not just having to like deal with the old stuff, which I mean it's kind of what they're doing with this Deadpool game. This is a standalone licensed Deadpool story that seemed pretty good. I think people liked it. It did fairly well. But yeah, not surprising that it's being scalped on eBay now. It's not the article, not the headline I expected to read this week, but it's also par for the course, as gamers know, especially collectors. This market is tough. All right, let's go to our next story. This is the Olympics. Olympics has moved on from Mario and Sonic. It's courtesy of The Verge. The International Olympic Committee has ended its licensing agreement with Nintendo and Sega in favor of NFT and esports partnerships. And that's enough said. Basically, where we were getting Mario and Sonic games every 4 years, which were neat. I mean, it was basically mini games, Olympics themed, featuring Mario and Sonic characters competing. And I thought it was a neat idea. Executed pretty well. Sega, I think, did most of the legwork. Nintendo was just like, hey, don't make us look stupid, but yeah, for almost 20 years, Nintendo and Sega have released Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games to coincide with the international sporting event. But now that tradition is at an end. In 2020, the IOC made the decision not to renew the game's licensing deal, ending a run of games that covered most summer and winter Olympic Games since 2007. And so this idea that they're trying to push like NFTs and esports products that don't exist, there's currently a mobile game called Olympics Go Paris 2024. And if you play it, you can claim an officially licensed commemorative Paris 2024 digital NFT pen. And that doesn't sound, that sounds worthless. Those words say, even if you don't know what an NFT is, this sounds absolutely worthless. Like, we don't know what this is. And I don't know. I think it's a dumb decision. You could have got like at least a quality party game, family game to play with the kids. And now it's like, oh, go collect your NFTs. It's like, nobody wants to do that. No, I think we've collectively moved on from NFTs, and that's for the better. And so the Olympics is just chasing a trend that is already past its prime. Well, let's move on. Speaking of sports, college football 25 had over 5 million players in its first week. So this was interesting. EA got to release a new college football game in a number of years. So college football 25 was the first entry since a long time ago. I don't know the exact numbers. I don't do sports games. I'm bad at them. I don't understand them. I'm terrible with sports, if you can't tell. That shouldn't shock anyone that's watching this video live or after the fact. But it's nice to see that what was once a staple. When I worked at GameStop, we had several major releases throughout the year. College football in the summer, Madden in the fall, Call of Duty, and then occasionally you got a Halo or Gears of War. But every year we had a Madden, college football, the NBA games. All of those sports games were huge. And then all of the licensing and craziness went down with the NCAA and EA, and that blew up. So EA managing to re-release a college football game in 2024 it looks good. So immediate response, holy crap, the franchise is set up for the future. So like this is good news for them. They'll be able to release an annual college football game for the next few years and not get annoyed by people not buying it, because that's what happens. You will see this game might hold some value for like 5 years, but I think after that you'll start seeing this one on the shelf for a long time for $2, like you do with all the other old sports titles that nobody plays after a couple of years because the new one comes out. I really don't know why EA hasn't made like the Madden live service. I think it's because people keep buying the $70, the $80, the $100 tiers every single year. But it's wild to me that we're not at a place where, you know, like with Fortnite, you get an update every so often and it's fine. You know, you get every week, you get new skins or whatever. You don't get the Madden or the college football platform where it's just constantly available, constantly being updated, and microtransactioned through the roof. You know, that would make more sense to me if that were the case. I don't know. Maybe there's just not the market for it because people keep buying the expensive game. But you know, we'll see college football 26 next summer at this rate, and it'll be better than this one, I'm assuming. I hope so. You know, sometimes these games would release and people be like, oh, this one was terrible, I'm just going to keep playing the old one. And I didn't understand that. But then, you know, you get Call of Duty every year and it's like, well, how is this one bad but the previous one was good and you built off of the old one? It happens. So good on EA for making a new game that people are hyped about. I feel like they needed a win, but maybe not in this aspect. But it's good to see the devs of this game get, you know, rewarded, hopefully financially, but seeing their game being well received and selling super well is awesome. All right, let's move on to some Epic Games news. Tim Sweeney over on X, tweeting July 25th, we've announced our new strategy for bringing Epic's games to mobile stores. Not only the soon to launch Epic Games Store for mobile, but also other independent mobile stores that give all developers a fair deal, including altstore.io, which is apparently a huge deal. I don't know much about alternative app stores. I'm not an Android user. I'm an iOS user in the United States. I don't think I'll ever know what a third-party app store is at this point. But he follows up with something interesting. Sadly, Fortnite and our other games will be leaving the Samsung Galaxy Store in protest of their new policy of blocking sideloading. This change obstructs users from installing competing stores is an issue we fought and won in the US Epic versus Google US antitrust trial. So it's interesting. Apparently it's a feature that can be turned off in settings, but it's turned on by default. It's to prevent people from downloading and installing apps that aren't officially signed or loaded with malware. Trust me, I've had to fix family members' Android phones plenty of times that it just was like, hey, I got to factory reset the thing because you downloaded an app that wasn't what you thought it was because you weren't paying attention. There are benefits to the walled garden approach. It's not the best approach, but there are benefits. And so I understand why things are the way they are, but I like that Tim Sweeney and Epic Games is kind of forging a path through that walled garden approach and going, hey, look, we should allow other app stores on mobile. Sadly, like I said earlier, as a US user, I don't think we'll ever see that on Android, but on Google, hey, have fun. You got to go turn the settings off. It looks like Fortnite will be launching on a bunch of these stores and devices and things. I don't know what that means for the future, but I'm very much looking forward to seeing what this means in the US because we know the EU, Apple has to allow it, and Android phones already allow it. So I don't know. I'm looking forward to seeing what comes from this. All right, let's get to our what seems to be a recurring feature on here, this week's layoffs announcement. Humble Games lays off entire team. So this isn't like the Humble Bundle platform, but rather the game publisher / developer group. And there's an update, but the original article, Humble Games, a publisher under the Humble Bundle umbrella that is owned by IGN, has reportedly laid off its entire team. The news of the Humble Games layoff first came via social media post by senior QA Emily Kiefer. Another year, another layoff, she said. Today is mine and my entire team's last day at Humble Games. Polygon senior reporter Nicole Carpenter added 36 people have been let go in what appears to be a total closure of the company. Insider Gaming has reached out to IGN Entertainment, which purchased Humble Bundle in 2017, and Ziff Davis for comment on the layoffs at Humble Games. I did not know Humble Bundle, like in the whole corp, was owned by IGN. That's wild to me. As of publishing, no response has been received. They did update it. The update, Humble Games addressed the layoffs it made on Tuesday, denying the claims of it being a total closure. They've tried to label this as a restructuring, and the article here from Insider Gaming follows up. In 2024 alone, there have been over 11,000 people laid off in the gaming industry. In 23, there were roughly 10,500 layoffs over the course of the whole year. We've already surpassed last year's layoffs, and it's weird every time something else gets closed down. Again, this update says they're not closing down but restructuring, but what does that mean if you fired most everybody? Again, I don't know what's going on here, but it doesn't look good. A lot of games have come out under the Humble Games branding, publishing arm of Humble Bundle. I hope it doesn't go away completely. Maybe they're just kind of, hey, we're spending a lot of money on this and it's not producing anything right now. Let's trim it and make the teams lean and see what we can do. I truly don't know. I don't know. It just sucks. I hope everybody, again, lands on their feet, finds better employment elsewhere. Let's move on to the next story. All right. So, as of yesterday, the Xbox 360 store has officially shut down. It's an end of an era. You can no longer purchase new games on the Xbox 360 marketplace. It just doesn't work anymore. Microsoft has shut it down. You can still re-download your old purchases and games as of right now. I don't know how long that will be available. Hopefully in perpetuity, but who knows? But I think GameStop had the best response over on Twitter. X, bet y'all wish you bought physical copies now. And good Lord, is that a sting if I've ever heard one. That made me like, dang, bro, that's an insane tweet from a corporation. But it does mean that it's another nail in the coffin for digital games and the digital future they're leading us in, because they can just go, hey, the store is shutting down. I'm not talking about it here, but the Redbox bankruptcy, people are losing their entire digital Redbox libraries because the whole company has gone bankrupt. And so what can you do? You spent the money, you gave them money, and now you can't access the thing anymore. This is just new purchases. Your existing purchases are still accessible at least. But still, like, if there was a game that had a physical edition that you bought digital on the 360, you better have a copy, a backup of that somewhere, because eventually they could shut down the whole re-download service entirely. That remains to be seen, though. Let's move on to our next topic here. Here we got Microsoft's Q4 24 fiscal earnings. Windows revenue up 4%. Devices revenue down 11%, so hardware down. Gaming revenue up 44%. Xbox content and services revenue up 61%. Hardware revenue down 42%. And I like this tweet because it sums it up very nicely. Basically, nobody's buying the hardware because the hardware they have works, and they're buying software and services, which is kind of the expectation most of the time for Microsoft anyway. Still, it's hard to convince the shareholders to fund new hardware when hardware is down 42%. And then it's like, well, why is hardware down 42%? But then you got to remember, oh, no console required. Microsoft, why is our Xbox not selling? What do we do? Oh, we just tell them they don't even need an Xbox and it'll be okay. Thanks, Colt Eastwood, for this tweet. Hardware is down 42%. And then adds like this, no console required. No, that's not confusing at all. Cloud gaming is neat. It works well. I did a little bit of it while on vacation, and it worked well for me where I was with decent Wi-Fi, but I just don't think we're there yet. But interesting situation nonetheless. I'm curious what the future holds for Xbox hardware, because honestly, it's just kind of seeing, like, unless they do something crazy and pull off like some kind of handheld Switch-like device, handheld PC, or just go, hey, look, this is an Xbox PC now. If that's the next step, let's go. That's going to be awesome. But we'll see. I guess we'll find out more information later this year, beginning of next year. All right, let's move on to our last couple articles. Game Pass news. Modern Warfare 3 hit Game Pass ahead of Black Ops 6. This launched July 24th. And I think this is crazy that Modern Warfare 3 was first. They could have easily added Modern Warfare 1, 2, and 3 from the get-go. But I can see why they did this one first. People already have it installed from Warzone. There's not much extra to install to get the campaign and multiplayer aspects of Modern Warfare 3. So it's a good get for Game Pass. I will definitely be checking it out now. I've been wanting to play some good old fashioned TDM and kill confirmed in Modern Warfare, so I'll be checking this out. But cool nonetheless. And then we've got the Valorant open beta, so everybody on Xbox can download Valorant now. And Xbox Wire here had a write up on why the coming to consoles wasn't just a port situation. They had a bunch of stuff to do. But it's good. It's important to note that Valorant, being a Riot-owned game, Riot game. Well, anyway, Xbox's Game Pass deal with Riot Games gives you full access to characters, and that's a pretty big deal in games like this. It comes down to, you know, having different abilities and stuff. And yeah, if you're a Game Pass Ultimate member, check out Valorant on Xbox, because there are some perks waiting for you just by it being a Riot game. I definitely want to check it out. I remember playing Valorant when it first launched on PC, and I was very bad at it. I'm still bad at it. I'm still hot garbage at it. So I don't know what to make of that, but we'll see. We'll see how we do on console versus playing on PC. But that does it for this week's game news. I'm wrapping it up here. I went a little long. My bad. There's a lot to catch up on. Anyway, yeah. So let me know what you guys think. If you're watching on YouTube or Rumble after the fact, thanks for checking out the video. Be sure to like it if you did, dislike it if you didn't. It all helps me in the end. Let me know which of these articles stands out to you the most. Are you picking up Marvel Rivals when it comes out? Are you bummed about the 360 store shutting down? And then what do you think of Modern Warfare, Call of Duty on Game Pass? Let me know in the comments. And if you're watching on Twitch, we're about to go play some video games. So see you soon. Bye.